And we're live? We're live. We're live? I meant to clear my throat before coming on, and I realized I'd already pushed the button, so excuse me. Clear my throat. And we're live! Hey everybody, welcome in to the Flippin Hippos YouTube channel, where we're most of the time having amateur hour, and sometimes we act like a professional YouTuber. I also ate ice right before coming on, so now my mouth is frozen because I am a professional. Let's talk about the day. It's Tuesday. It's June 23rd, and we are going to talk tonight about 5 myths. I'm going to bust them for you. I'm going to bust them right up with some tough love and give some of you a reality check. And I mean that with love, guys, but there's just certain things that need to be said sometimes and lessons that need to be learned. And I'm not one to blow rainbows up unicorns' asses or anything. So I'm going to tell you the truth, and we're going to talk about it. And it might be hard to hear some of it, and some of it you might even laugh at. So let's say hi to who's here. Amy's here, watching on Apple TV. Oh boy, I hope it's not a big TV. I don't like when people put me on the big TVs. Didn't want to miss the show. Hey, Greg, welcome in. R1J1 is here. Welcome in. Pete. It's Jules. Oh, hey, welcome in. Tammy's here. Hey, girl. Hello from Tucson. There's my favorite name to say, the Sunday Fun Day. Sunday Fun Day. Coming at you from Tucson. Guys, I sat down. We're going to get right into the meat of the show. Hi, Joanne. If you miss any part of the show or you come in late, you can always watch the replay later. So I really should have, before I came on, my allergies are absolutely bonkers. So I sat down. I actually had the idea for this show last week, right after I did last week's show. I thought, well, I'll do this idea this week. And so I sat down and I brainstormed and thought, ew, Amy, thank you. She says, oh, you're gorgeous. And my reaction is, Anyway, I sat down and I brainstormed. What are the 5 most common myths or misconceptions I think a lot of resellers have, especially new resellers coming new to the business? What are the 5 things that they unfortunately believe that isn't true or whatever? But then I noticed in the past week or so a couple of things in Facebook groups, reselling Facebook groups, that kept coming up over and over and over again. And so I changed my list a little bit. I did have the 5 most common misconceptions, but I changed up the list a little bit so that I could cover some things that I keep seeing. And usually if you keep seeing post after post after post in different Facebook groups, not just my Facebook group, which is Flippin Hippos Reseller Pod. You should be in it if you're not. Links down below. I kept seeing it pop up all over the place, which means that it's a hot topic right now. A lot of people are dealing with it. So we're going to talk about it and the myths surrounding it. So the first thing I want to talk about is free shipping is not free. It's not. If you think that free shipping is really free, I'm here to tell you you're doing it wrong. Understandably, a lot of buyers, or lay people as I call them, don't understand how shipping works. And we can't fully expect them to understand how shipping works because they don't do this for a living. This isn't their job. They're not resellers. They're not listing. They're not losing money. And they're not, having to pay for their mistakes the way that we do when we don't build shipping into the price. You will encounter buyers that actually think free shipping is free. And if you don't believe me, I did share some photos in my Facebook group this week from a buyer who sent me a message and basically said she really liked the shoes, but she couldn't see herself paying $10 for shipping. And I wrote her back very professionally, as I always do when I get those kinds of messages. And I say, and feel free to copy me verbatim if you want, I usually just say, thank you for your interest in this item. Unfortunately, the shipping is calculated by the United States Postal Service per federal guidelines. And they calculate that by the weight of the item and how far it's going to ship. So the cost is completely out of my hands. Have a wonderful evening, the Hippo Hut team. Remember that royal we I always talk about? I always sign everything, or the key too, whichever one of us answers messages, the Hippo Hut team, so that it sounds like we're a whole team of people. It's a royal we. And that's how I answer it. You guys can steal that if you want. You've totally put the blame on someone else. You've kind of explained it to the buyer. They don't understand the way shipping works. You've told them how it works. You've used federal and United States. You've used big words. They usually understand, and they'll either buy it or they won't. Well, she wrote back and said, but what would happen if you changed your listing to free shipping and took it to the post office? What would they do? And she said, I see that a lot of sellers have free shipping on their items. Are you telling me they actually pay for it? The seller pays for it? I'm not even kidding you guys. It's in the group. I put up the screenshots. I did block out the buyer's name to protect her identity, but I did share her messages. And she literally asked me, what would happen if you changed it to free and just took it to the post office? And then I guess she kind of second guessed her own thought process and said that she didn't understand, and our sellers actually paying for this when it's free. So buyers don't get it. We can't expect them to. You can be professional and you can be polite and just explain to them. It's out of my hands. I'm not, if you're doing calculated, if you have a flat rate on your listing, it's kind of harder to do it my way. But you could tell them the average cost based on weight and how far this item is going to ship per the United States regulations, postal regulations. So I've taken the average. You can tell them that. But if you're a seller and you haven't yet figured out that free shipping isn't really free, you're doing it wrong and you need to fix it immediately. Post haste yesterday. I cannot tell you how many posts I have seen in the last couple of weeks where sellers were literally saying they had to stop doing free shipping because they were losing too much money. I don't understand that. How are you losing money? You build it into the price. Free shipping is not really free. If you're actually making it free for the buyer, you are doing it wrong. An example, let's say you go to comp and you see silver jeans. Most folks are selling them for $40 free shipping or $40 plus $8 shipping, right? You want to sell them for $40 free or $40 plus $8 for the padded flat. But if you don't understand that free shipping isn't really free, you might put $32. You might figure $32 plus free shipping because that's what people would do. That was not a very good example. I don't math well. Okay, you go to comp the jeans and you see that most folks are selling them for $40 plus $8 shipping. So you decide to put yours up for $40 free ship. That is what I meant to say. So you can't do that. You have to take the total cost when you're comping, whether other folks are doing it free or calculated or adding shipping in. You have to take the total price when you comp items. If you see that most people are charging 30 free or 30 plus 8 or 30 plus 10, that item's worth 40. The item's worth 40. It's not worth 30 plus free shipping, or you know what I'm trying to say? You got to add the shipping in. So it's not free. You build it into the price. If a pair of jeans is worth $20 and you want to list it for $12, you got to put $8 shipping on it, or you can put $20 free ship. It's built into the price. It is absolutely not free. And if you're not charging the buyer shipping, you're doing it wrong, and you will start losing money. And I've seen so many sellers literally saying that in like threads where people are talking about the value of doing free shipping versus charging or whatever. I had to stop. I was losing money. I almost ran myself out of business. Well, clearly, because there's a piece of hair sticking up, you were doing it wrong. So make sure that even if, I'm making this worse. Oh boy. Make sure that even if you are saying free shipping, that you're charging your buyer for the shipping. Just build it into the price. When they go to look at items, if they organize it by cost or they look at the total cost, you're still going to be okay. Because if everybody else is charging 12 plus 8 and you're charging 20 free, it's the same price. So let's see who's peeked in real quick. Joanne's here. Donna's here. Hi, Donna. Stark Raven Wild is here. Swimmerization. Believable Blessings. Welcome in. Greg says, I don't know why free shipping is so hard to understand. When I explain it to friends or family, it boggles them. Because unfortunately, people who aren't sellers or lay people, as I call them, don't understand. They really think it's free. And I can't even tell you, honestly, that maybe I didn't think that at one point in my life. Growing up without the internet, because I'm old, and you would see those commercials, you know, like QVC or, you know, everybody would say free shipping. I thought it was free. I thought I was getting a $20 mop with free shipping or whatever I ordered. So you've got to build it in, though, because we know better. We're not lay people. This is our job. And if you're going to be paying for the shipping out of your own pocket, you're not charging your buyers, that's a really good way to go out of business quick. So, Colleen's here. Hey, welcome in, Colleen. Mary, Delilah's Village. But the thing with the free shipping, you want it to say that. So if you said shipping included, that is not exciting. That is not psychologically thrilling to anyone. Selling is kind of a mental game, and buyers need to think they're getting something for free. I've talked about this before, especially with like running sales and stuff. We run sales in our store 24 hours a day. And even with the sale on, our stuff is at the price we want it to be at. It just gives an illusion of them getting a deal, pulling a fast one, getting the last word. It's all a mental game. So you want it to say to them, these jeans are on sale for $20. I really wanted 20, so I put them at 25 and then put them on sale, right? And they have free shipping because I would have charged 12 plus 8 had I charged shipping. But the buyer thinks, oh my gosh, these are on sale. They're 20% off and I get free shipping. Woo! Yay! Yeah, you got to play the mental game. Unfortunately, there's a lot of psychological stuff that goes into creating the illusion that they're getting a really good deal. There's some people that say that's dishonest, but it's not really dishonest because you're not hiding anything. Your jeans are $20, just like everyone else's. So, but you've got to make it seem appealing. You've got to appeal to their desire to want a deal. We are melting in Georgia. We had 97% humidity today. Y'all, 97% humidity. Dying. Greg, do you think that you could potentially get more realistic offers if you charge shipping? Being most don't consider that cost. I know the pros of offering free, but I wonder how much. No, because cheap people are going to be cheap. If I have, I mean, that's just my opinion, but if I have jeans up for 20 free ship and they're going to offer me 10 for them, if I had 12 plus 8 ship, they're still going to offer me 6. They're still going to offer me 3. You know what I mean? I don't do free shipping on anything that's over a pound, with the exception of jeans, because I know padded flats are around $8 and I can build that into the price. I don't think so, because then they're still going to, everybody wants everything cheap. So the only time I would say that I have shipping charges on there to protect us in the end of losing money is the calculated shipping on the bigger items, because the minute I think I'm going to add $10 into the price on something that weighs a pound, that's going to be the time somebody in Hawaii buys one of my big plush, and then I'm SOL. So I only really worry about covering myself on heavy items, because first class, even if someone in Hawaii bought it, you're not looking at that much more. Okay, so let's move on to the second one, because it's already 7:15 and I'm still going on about free shipping. So the second myth is that it's a two-parter. And I guess we're allowed to speak our minds about eBay now. You guys all know what happened in the news, and their new CEO says we can say whatever we want. So this myth has a two-part to it. eBay apparently doesn't admit or acknowledge the fact that their system is glitchy, which we all know it is. Glitch. People call it Glitch Bay. They're running on patched up software from 1990, whatever. They're going to glitch. So the myth that when your item sells that has already sold before, you have to take the hit and the defect, you do not. What am I talking about? This has been a hot topic too. In fact, just yesterday, there were 2 separate threads in my group about this. So let's say I sold this Captain America t-shirt last week and it sells again today. I don't know how it got relisted. I really don't. And it happens all the time. We had a Harry Potter shirt one time that sold 5 times. It was a one-off. It never had multiple quantity. It was a one-time t-shirt and it sold 5 times. And if you call eBay and explain to them, I know I sold this item. I know I didn't relist it. It wasn't in my unsolds. There's no possible way because it doesn't go to your unsolds when it sells. It goes to awaiting shipping and then sold, right? They will tell you they are not aware of any glitches. They've never heard of this, and you must have mistakenly relisted it yourself. They will tell you that. They've told me that a million times. They've told a million sellers that a million times for a million years. They do not acknowledge it. They say they've never heard of it. Of course they've heard of it because we all have it happen to us all the time. But the thought that if you call eBay and you explain to them, I know I didn't do this mistake, it relisted itself, I don't understand, and they tell you, no, there's nothing we can do, you must have made a mistake, the common misconception or myth that a lot of resellers think is, well, crap, I almost swore right there. Well, crap, now I have to go and cancel it and say it's because I don't have the item, and then you take the defect. Wrong. There is a way around it that is professional and will make your buyer happy, or at least your buyer will feel like they have had the opportunity to make it right and they have a choice. So if you just cancel it, I don't have the item, you're going to have a pissed off buyer, period. So what we do is we offer them a choice. I'm going to tell you exactly what we do. We write to them and we say, and again, you guys can copy me verbatim. Anytime I give any advice or tell you any kind of cookie cutter message I send to buyers or any kind of customer service I do, absolutely feel free to copy me. If you can't get it from me talking here, feel free to go into the Facebook group and tag me. Tag me and say, hey, Star, can you give me the copy paste version of your canceled item or your shipping verbatim that you say, because I have all of these things actually saved on my computer. I don't type them out every time. I copy and paste. When I say I do cookie cutter responses, I legitimately do. I just copy paste the same thing over and over. So here's what I do. Something sells that already sold. I know I don't have it anymore, right? So I write to the buyer and I say, hello, thank you for your recent order. Unfortunately, this item was listed in error. We are prepared to offer you your choice of any item in our store up to, and this is the only part that's different, X amount of value. I usually offer them double. So if it's a $20 pair of jeans I'm having to tell them I don't have, I will offer them anything in value up to $40 in the store. If it was a $6 remote, they get to pick up to $12. If it was a $20 t-shirt, I say $40. I usually double it because that sounds good and it makes people happy. So we are prepared to offer you any item in our store up to X amount of value as a replacement. Alternatively, we can cancel this order and refund you in full immediately. Please let us know your choice as soon as possible. And then I say, again, our sincerest apologies for the mix-up. Have a wonderful evening, the Hippo Hut team. 99% of the time, they write me back and they'll say, oh, darn, oh, dang. They're disappointed, but they'll usually just say, oh, thank you for letting me know. They're always disappointed, but they're knock on wood, we've had one mad person ever in the years of doing this. They usually just say, okay, you can refund me. And they take their money and they're okay. And we've actually gotten positive feedback from folks who say buyer or seller made a mistake and fixed it quickly. Seller made a mistake and refunded me. Seller was so easy to work with. This method really makes them okay with what happened. Whereas if you just cancel it, not only are you taking a defect, they're not happy with you. When you reach out to them and you give them the opportunity of having a choice, it's that psychological thing. It's that mental game you're playing with people. You're saying, I messed up and I'm giving you a choice. You can choose something else or you can choose your money. And they like that. The other 1% of the time, they'll choose something and that's okay. So they pick another pair of jeans or they pick a t-shirt or they pick a pair of shoes, whatever they pick. You end that immediately so no one else buys it and you're not running into this again. Just end the item immediately and then use the shipping label from the item they purchased from you. So go ahead and print out their label. Say you sold them this purple cup and it had already sold, last month and it was a glitch. It relisted. And the cup was $20. So they picked out a $40 pair of silver capris. Okay, so they picked something completely different, and that does happen. So go to the cup and print the label, the shipping label from the cup. Throw that on the jeans. You will now not get a shipping defect, and you won't get a cancellation defect. If they choose to be refunded and they decide not to pick another item, then you can go cancel the order, buyer's request, and you absolutely can cancel it buyer's request at this point because they asked you to. And then you just refund them and you get your fees back. You're not getting a defect, and they're usually happy with you and will even sometimes leave positive feedback because you worked with them. The only thing you may run into is your handling time. So if a buyer is too slow to get back to you and you reach that point where you have to ship it because you've reached your handling time, we do go ahead and cancel it, buyer's request. And then we send them another message saying, hello, unfortunately, we did not hear back from you in time for us to ship on our end per our agreement for our handling time. But our offer still stands. And if you want to choose anything else in our store, let us know and you can send us the offer and we'll accept it. But at that point, we do just cancel it and refund them. We've not had anyone really mad about that either. In fact, we've only ever had one person mad at us ever for this. And it's because he swore he's been selling on eBay for 50 years. And he said eBay never glitches out. He's never heard of such a thing. And what are we talking about? Nobody ever glitches. And then not even 12 hours later, he actually wrote us back. This was last year in April. He wrote us back and he apologized and said, karma's a bitch because guess what just happened to me? And one of his items sold twice. So that was the only time anyone's ever been mad. But if they don't get back to you, you can cancel it and then just kind of explain to them why you had to do it because you had to fulfill your agreement on your end for your handling time and you couldn't do that and refund them. And let them know if they want to pick something in the store worth whatever amount you offered, that they can absolutely reach out to you and that you will uphold that offer to them. Okay, so you don't have to take the defect if it glitches out and something sells twice. Absolutely do not do that. It is not your fault. eBay is glitchy. Whether eBay wants to admit that they have glitches or not, eBay is glitchy. And these things happen. And I personally do not feel that we should be taking defects for their platform or their software being glitchapalooza. That's just not fair. And you're still offering great customer service to your buyers. You're not doing anything wrong. You're absolutely not doing anything wrong. You're choosing not to take a defect for their mistake, and you are offering great customer service. You're offering them something of more value. You're offering to replace whatever they bought with something more expensive, and you're doing great customer service. And in the end, everyone is happy. So that is how I recommend taking care of that. And I really wanted to talk about that tonight because it was all over the groups recently. All right, the third, that comps are the end-all, be-all, gospel truth of how you should be pricing your items. No. Nope. Now, that is not to say, please do not stop comping if you're new. I have to put this in there. If you are a new reseller, if you are still learning how to resell, if you are starting to branch out and diversify into new to you, different types of categories, you need to comp. I absolutely 1000% comp anything that is new to me. Shoes, I comp every time. I don't know shoes that well. I'm not an expert on shoes. Jeans and plush, I never comp. I just price it what I want. But those are my wheelhouses. Jeans and plush are my wheelhouse. When I list men's shirts, women's dresses, shoes, hard goods, even new to me plush or new to me brands within the jeans, I comp. So whenever you're learning something new or you're unfamiliar with it, or if you're a new reseller in general, you need to be comping. You absolutely do. But they're not the end all be all of everything. If you feel like what you have has a lot of value to it, and you see that a bunch of turds are racing to the bottom and listing it at far below what you value it at, you don't have to follow the trend, guys. You don't have to go for the fast nickel or race to the bottom. If it's a super duper oversaturated item, probably you're going to have to at least trend a little bit lower. But if it's not a super duper oversaturated item and there's only a couple of them listed by turds who want to price low, and yes, you heard me, and that's my tough love, and if you don't like it, I don't care. I hate people who race to the bottom, and I hate fast nickels, and if you price things at far below their value and you trash the market on stuff, I will call you a turd, and I will call you a turd all day, and I'll call you a turd to your face. I have seen far too many things on eBay go from being worth this much to down here. You're a turd. Anyway, if an item is oversaturated, you're kind of have to trend low. But let's say Henry. Let's say Henry's a $40 plush historically. And I go on and there's 3 Henrys listed. One's at 10, one's at 12, and one's at 15. Guess what? I can wait patiently for those 3 Henrys to sell. Henry's the big gray one back there. And I'll list my Henry for 40. If there's only 3 or 2 or a couple other ones, I'll list it what I want and then wait it out. So comps aren't the end all be all. They are super important, and you should be checking both the solds, which is really important. Really important that you check the solds because you want to see what items are actually selling for, right? Anybody can list anything at any price. Oh, thank you so much. I can't even speak. I said thank you. I'm getting on a roll. Thank you so much for the super chat, Amy. $4.99. You rock. And $2 from Greg. Hashtag tough love. Thank you so much. You guys are the best. You guys aren't turds. Oh, the solds. So anybody can list anything, right? You see the Beanie Babies listed high. You see the Black Diamond Disney VHS tapes, and you hear all the rumors about why. Anybody can list anything. So if you go in and you see a bunch of Henrys for 80, that doesn't necessarily mean Henry sells for 80. You want to check the solds too. And if you continually see Henrys selling for $40, $45 or whatever, you know Henry's worth 40. But if there's only a couple listed and they're all at 80, maybe something happened that made Henry more valuable. So you got to check the solds to see what stuff is actually selling for. You want to see how many have sold, how recently they've sold to get your sell-through rate, how many are selling in the last 90 days. And you want to see at what price this stuff is actually selling for. But then check your listed, because if there's only a couple listed or now there's none listed, then the value goes up. Because if you are the only one that has an item, guess what? You set the price. I tell you guys that all the time. If there are absolutely no Henrys live right now and you have the only Henry, put him up for 50. Put him up for 60. You've got the only one. But it is important to check the solds and the actives to kind of gauge where you're going to price it. So comping is super important, especially when you're first learning. Please do not stop comping and run around and tell everybody, hey, that broad from Flippin Hippos told me I ain't got a comp anymore and I'm just making up prices willy-nilly. That's not what I'm saying. But when you get to a point where you know what you're doing with certain items, absolutely. But I told you guys, I'm not an expert on everything. I have a wheelhouse with certain brands of jeans, mostly my bread and butters. I know what I start them at. I know if I add $2 for button fly. I know if I add $5 if it's a men's, if it's distressed. You know I take off a couple bucks for a ripped belt loop or whatever. You know what I mean? Maybe my plush went to outer space on the space rocket. So you should comp, but they're not the end all be all. Do not participate in the race to the bottom, please. And if you ever doubt, if you're checking comps, if you ever doubt, if you're like, why are all these people listing all these Henrys at $10 when I know Henrys are worth $40? Check a trusted seller that you know. If you are selling Plush and you are questioning the listed amounts of Plush, we're going to go over half an hour tonight, and that's okay because this is something I'm passionate about, and we still got 2 more to go, and I get really excited when I'm giving out tough love, so we'll stay a little bit longer. Check trusted sellers. Like, so if you're selling Plush and you're like, whoa, I think Henry's worth more than that, go to Robert's store. He's got it public. Go to my store and check our Plush and see if we have Henry's listed and what we're doing. If we have them at $10, chances are they're worth 10. But if you see that mine's at 40 and Robert has one at 50, then you know they're more valuable. If you're selling jeans, Megan Mawhinney's store is public and she is the jean queen. Megan Mawhinney is hands down the jean queen. She knows them better than I do. She's more familiar with way more brands. She's lived in more places where she's sourced. She's gotten familiar with different brands that way. And she prices super high and she gets the prices she wants. So I know she's got her stores public at Shop the Sandcastle. I know hers offhand. I don't know Robert's offhand because I have his saved. But, oh, I didn't even know Megan was here. Well, hi, Megan. I really didn't know you were here. I honestly did not pay attention to the chat. There she is. Hi, Star. I'm so happy I made it to the live show. Well, hi, Megan. Welcome in. I didn't know you were here, but I do always toot your horn when it comes to jeans. It's Shop the Sandcastle. You can check my closet too. If you are selling remotes, check Casey's store. It's public. Check mine. If you know somebody who does a lot of men's shirts or vintage, check Katie and Vicky's stores. Those are public as well. If you're ever questioning what you see when you comp, find a seller you know and trust that has a public store or even a public Posh Closet and go in and see what they're doing. Check them out. See what they're doing. See what they're selling it at. Because chances are a very seasoned, experienced veteran seller who has a wheelhouse will know exactly what an item is worth and will have it priced at what the market value is and what it will move at. So you can trust that. Don't come to my store looking at women's dresses because I don't even know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Check me for my wheelhouse. Check me for the Plush and the jeans. So that said, we're going to move to number 4. And this kind of goes in with the number 3. This myth is my favorite one to bust. A lot of sellers think that you have to price low to sell more. Absolutely no. You do not have to price low to sell more. Megan is in the chat now. I know that. And she will tell you, she just said slow down, baby. Slow down, baby. Megan prices stuff at where I think it's a little high, right? She goes a little bit higher than me. And she gets it. And she moves it. And she sells in volume. You do not have to price low to have more volume. You do not have to price low to sell more items. And unfortunately, guys, if you are in the game of used clothing and Plush, you're going to have to do volume. If you have electronics, really high-end merchandise like that, you could have 100 items listed and you could still sell 10 a day and you could make tons of money, and that's fantastic for you. But if you're going to do used clothing, even new tags clothing and Plush and things like that, you're going to have a high volume of items listed to have a high volume of items selling. And then you get that activity moving to where you're listing every single day to replace what you're selling. Your items listed number goes up. So your sell-through rate at 0.5% typically for clothing, you'll be selling more. So you're listing more and then more is selling and you're getting more offers. And it's just like this whole tunnel that feeds each other. And Cassini loves it. Cassini loves an active store. So in order to sell more, you don't have to price lower, guys. You don't have to race to the bottom. List every day. List every single day. Take one day off a week if you must. We manage to list every day, but that's because there's 2 of us, right? So I take Saturdays off typically, and he takes Sundays off, and then one of us will list that day. And then Monday through Friday, we both list. And then we share the burden on the weekends so that each at least one day a weekend we get off from listing eBay. We still work. We do other stuff. But if you want to sell more, diversify, number 1. Get stuff other than used clothing and Plush in your store because those things have higher sell-through rates. As soon as we started listing remotes and having a lot of remotes in our store, our volume went up because those have a 1% sell-through rate and they sell a lot faster. So Keith was listing like 20 of those a day and our volume went up. So diversify and get some different stuff in your store. Go on different platforms and diversify. You'll sell more that way. List every single day. Increase the amount of items you have listed. And just like I saw Megan Mawhinney say about the funnel, the high volume is the key, and you create the funnel. And it will eventually, it takes a while though, guys. So when you're new to this and you're not selling 10 items a day, and you're not selling the big piles of 40 packages or 30 packages that you see me sending out, or the 40 packages Megan sends out, or gosh, what does Robert send out every Monday? Like 80? Robert has like 80 to 100 packages go out every Monday for his weekend sales. And you aren't doing that yet. It's okay, guys. Robert has 4,000 listings. He's going to sell more than all of us because he's got more listed. And that's his public store. Like most good YouTubers out there and people who share their information, most of us have secret stores that we don't show you just to protect ourselves. But he's got a whole other store that he doesn't show us, and we don't even know how much is listed on there. So, of course, he's selling that much, right? Robert is intense, Megan, and it's Plush. He's immensely intense. But when you see Robert doing that, when you see what Megan's doing, when you see what we're sending out, when you see what the Rally Roots are sending out, all these people that you can think of, Casey, everybody, calm down. If you're new and you have 50 listings and you sold 2 items this weekend, you did just as good as we did, period. I always tell you guys that. Don't compare yourself to other people. Don't worry about what I'm doing or anyone else. If you have 50 items listed and you sold 2, you did great. You had an amazing weekend. But if you want to sell more than 2 a weekend, you've got to have more than 100 listed or 50 listed. So a really good goal is to try to list 10 a day. 10 a day is a good goal. 5 a day if this is your part-time gig, but if you want this to be like a full-time job or you really want to grow or go anywhere, 10 a day is good, because not only you're not going to grow by 300 a month, if you list 10 a day times 30 days, you're not technically going to grow 300 a month because you're replacing what you're selling. And the higher your listed number gets, the more you're going to sell. The more of what you're listing every day is just replacing what you've sold. So that number kind of will start to spin its wheels after a while. But just keep listing every single day. Diversify. Make sure you're staying active. I always tell you guys, in things that are about to end on their own, go into the unsold, sell them similar, tweak them, run your sales, do your best offers, do all of the things I've always talked about for the past 2 years. If you need to go back through my channel and go and search for any of the videos about this stuff, you can search for keywords like make more sales, make more money on eBay, search for best practices. And you can find tons of videos where I'm telling you all of these things, and I have been since January of 2018. There are things that you can do to make more sales without lowering your prices or racing to the bottom. Now, that said, should you let stuff sit forever? No. Generally speaking, Plush is very long tail. Wow, it is. It just is. It's like the longest of long tails. And I went, wow, because I'm such a dork, but it really is. Clothing, your good brands are going to sell at like 3 months. Some will sell sooner, some will sell faster. Sometimes you luck out and you hit the right person at the right time. You listed something they've been looking for. You're always going to have clothing that sells within a day or 2 of listing. You're always going to have clothing that sells in a couple weeks and is exciting. And then you never recreate that. It's happened to us. We listed a pearl snap that sold overnight, and then it took like another week for the next one to sell. And I guarantee you the other 2 we have in that brand are going to take a couple months. You're always going to have clothes that sell quick and surprise you, but most of the time you use clothing, generally speaking, the really super duper bolo, new at tags, high-end luxury brands, about 3 months, and then 3 to 6 months is the sweet spot for the really good bread and butters and other really good brands, and then 6 months or longer for your lower end bread and butter and your oopsies, the things you shouldn't have sourced when you were learning, the brands you probably shouldn't have picked up. I still have oopsies in my store, and Megan can attest, she's still got oopsies in her store because she's kind of got the mindset of me. If I've already taken the photos and the measurements and done the work and got it listed, I don't want to just freaking pull it down and go donate it and take $1 right off because that's what I paid for it. I'd rather just let it sit and try to sell it. But that's the lowdown, guys. Those of you that have purchased our clothing guide in the past that Keith and I put out every year, because we update it every year. And it has sell-through rates on it that are color-coded. And if you have one of those and you've seen how we do it, you can see the red, 6 months or longer, is your poop brands or your oopsies. And then 3 to 6 months is your good stuff. And then 3 months or less is going to be your really good stuff, right? So clothing takes a while to sell. So you also have to learn how not to be impatient. You want to sell more. You don't want to price too low, but you also have to learn not to be impatient. I hear all the time from people, especially with Plush. Oh my God, I've had my Plush. And I'm doing my Kevin Hart voice because that's what I do when I make fun of people. But oh my God, it's taken forever. And I'll be like, how long has your Plush been listed? 2 weeks. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now? Plush takes forever to sell. And yes, this is tough love. So if you think I'm being a little snooty tonight, a little snotty tonight, a little ranty tonight, I am. Hello, I'm giving you tough love. I want you to wake up and stop being impatient. Your stuff is not going to sell overnight. If your American Eagle jeans haven't sold in 3 months, those are middle ground jeans. They're going to take 3 to 6 months to sell typically. So stop racing to the bottom. Stop lowering your prices all the time just because you're impatient. I am here to tell you, I have done the research. Keith and I have done the research. We've done the clothing guides, and we've gone through the sell-through rates, the historical timeline, sell-through rates on Terapeak, Sellhound, and eBay, and this is how it breaks down. There's clothes that will sell in under 3 months. There's 3 to 6 months section, and then there's a 6 months to 9 months section. Anything over 9 months you probably do want to just get rid of. That's real poop. And Plush is going to take a lot longer than that. If you bought my Plush guide, if you had won a Plush guide, I gave tons of them away for free too in tons of different contests. But if you've ever seen my Plush guide, it's the same thing on the sell-through rate. It's broken down in red, green, and yellow. There is like this much green. And most Plush is red. It's really long tail. Most Plush is red, which means super slow. So you have to be realistic. You have to stop being impatient. You have to have the mindset that things are going to take a while to sell. You do not have to lower your prices to get it to move. You need to do the work. You need to roll up your sleeves, and you need to list every single day. You can lower your prices a little bit over time, or you can run sales. I don't recommend leaving stuff at the same price for months on end. You can run sales. You can lower it like by 5% every other month. That's what I do on clothing. Hard goods, I'd take $1 off every 6 months. Legitimately, I will sit on stuff like hard goods and Plush until I get the price I want. Megan says, I have stuff from 3 years ago. Yeah, I have a whole system for how I clearance stuff out, run it through a clearance, run it through an auction, and then reintroduce it back into the store. I have a whole system on how I do that. I should do a video on that for you guys. I'm going to. Let me write that down. Because I have a whole system, and it involves redoing photos if it needs done, or just pulling stuff that's poop and getting rid of it, which also helps your store in the long run. So I'll do a video on that and talk about that at another time. So Kim, we run a sale 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, around the clock. It starts Sunday evening, stops Wednesday evening, starts a half an hour again later Wednesday evening, ends Friday evening, and a half an hour later, 25% off will run through Sunday. And then the rest of the week it's 20%. You don't have to run yourself ragged. I go in every Friday morning and I set up my sales for the whole week. It takes 10 minutes, if that. I'm usually multitasking. I'm usually refreshing my store in one tab, setting up the sales in another, ending and starting promoted listings in yet another tab, and also having coffee and watching shows. So it probably only takes like 5 minutes. I do it every Friday morning. I don't run myself ragged. We have sales on 24 hours a day. It's like, please do a video on that. I do. I really do. Because I have a whole like OCD laid out step-by-step system that I enjoy using. I never say OCD is a derogatory term. I am very, very obsessive compulsive. I have a lot of anxiety, and the only way I can do things is make lists and have an order. I have a video on my sales calling somewhere. I don't even remember what it's called. Look for sales on the actually, I'll just text it to you later. Let me write your name down so I don't forget. I'll find the video for you, Colleen, and I'll text it to you. Okay, we still got two more to go. No, we don't. No, we don't. That was number 4. So number 5, the very last one. So I'm going to get into the very last one of the evening. 100% of my store is on sale 100% of the time, except for that half hour in between when one ends and one starts. You can set your sales up to grab new listings, and I have a video on that as well. It's in the Hasty Hippo Hints playlist. And it's literally called like set your sales up to grab new listings. It's like a 4-minute video. It's really short. You can set your sales up to grab new stuff. So whatever I list today, by the end of today, the sale will have snagged it. So 100% of my store is on sale 100% of the time, but I price it so that's okay. So if I want $20 for American Eagle jeans, I list them at $24.99. My sale grabs it, they go down to $19.99. And then on the weekends, it'll be a little bit small, a little bit less because we do 25%. So it's actually like a real sale. Your OCD ways have somehow become mine. Well, that's fine. I mean, what the things I do help me be successful and help me cope. They help quell my anxiety and they help quell my OCD. And I feed into my OCD. I know that mine requires me to have things done in a certain order. I need lists, I need schedules, I need routines. So I feed into that and I allow it to be a part of my life. So I have my routines and my lists, and instead of them crippling me or making me inadequate or unsuccessful, I use my disabilities to my advantage, I guess, so that I'm more successful, allowing that OCD to take over and tell me you need to do things this way. But the only bad part is if like life throws me a wrench or something happens, it has to be a little bit different, then I get very anxious. But I let it help me. Okay, I'm going to get into number 5. And then if you have any questions at all, put them in the chat now. And I will absolutely get to you guys before I go. We're just going to have a longer show tonight because sometimes you can't keep it to half an hour. All right. Number 5 is the big one, right? This is the one that everyone seems to think. At least 99.9% of new resellers think this. And I think there's some people that aren't so new that still think this. Number 5, the myth that reselling is easy and I'm going to make a whole ton of money really fast and I'm going to get rich overnight. That is a myth. I need some water. Sorry, guys. That is absolutely a myth. I should have muted my chats. Jeez. Sorry, can't have this running like that. Okay. So you're not going to make money overnight. You're not going to become rich overnight. And this isn't easy. I think I've made entire videos about this before, so this one will be really quick to cover. But reselling is not easy. It's not glamorous, and it is not always fun. It is not a life of going to thrift stores and going to yard sales and then coming home and somehow magically having a 6-figure income and a better car and all your bills paid and living in a big house. It's just not how it is. Can you make 6 figures? Yeah, a lot of us do, but it doesn't happen overnight and it's not easy. You've got to put the work in. It's not an easy job. A lot of it is easy, like the shopping part. Sure, going shopping is easy. Some of it's easy, but very tedious, like the measuring and the photographs and the listing. That's all very tedious, even though it's not technically hard, but a lot of it's really hard. And there's a lot to remember. You are your own boss. You run your own business. So now you're in charge of all these things you've never been in charge of before. You've got to be an accountant. You've got to be a PR person. You've got to be the social media marketer. You've got to be the personal shopper, the customer service. You've got to be a photographer, and you've got to learn how to affiliate links. There's just so many hats that we have to wear. I didn't even list every job that we do, but there's even more than that. So you are in charge of every aspect of this business, and that's not easy. And a lot of this is super hard. I find a lot of the tedious stuff really hard for me if I don't have something else going on. And I tell people that all the time. Find your medium, find your happy medium. Some folks work better if they have music. Some folks work better if they can listen to a podcast or they have Netflix streaming in the background. Obviously, don't watch a show that you need to pay attention to or that's going to distract you and draw your attention away from work. Watch something you can kind of listen to in the background. I like my murder podcasts, true crime podcasts, and I watch a lot of police procedurals like SVU and NCIS and CSI and all those, or more true crime and serial killer documentaries, because that's stuff I can listen to, but I can still work. But find what you need, because a lot of this job is so tedious that you're going to have to find a way to make it fun. Some of it's downright hard. Some of it is disheartening. Some of it is frustrating. Some of it is scary. When you have a couple of days with low sales and you're going into summer slowdown and you're scared you're not going to make enough money, then you go into fourth quarter and you're rolling in the dough and you're all excited. Sometimes you have to deal with really mean people, like buyers. If you're on YouTube or you have any kind of social media presence, you're going to have really mean people. You got to have a thick skin. People are going to be really mean to you, unfortunately. I approve all of the comments on here, so I just hold them back and no one ever has to see them but me. But there's just so much to this job that's hard. If you're not a math person and you have to all of a sudden be an accountant and keep track of all your finances and stuff, yeah, get a CPA when you go to file. I always tell people that for your first couple of 2-3 years, absolutely hire someone to help you with your taxes, please, unless you are really good with math or you're a CPA. Yeah, when you get bloody pig masks in the mail, that sucks. When someone sends you poop in the mail, that sucks. I've had some hate mail sent to the P.O. box, but people are going to be people. So, but then there's parts of this job that are super awesome, super easy, super fun, and super rewarding. I get to wake up whenever I want. I don't have to set an alarm. If I want to sleep till 10, I can sleep till 10. If I want to get up at 8, because I got a couple errands I want to get to, I want to get up at 8, get ready right away, get showered, dressed out the door at 9 so I can be home by 10 or 11 to start working because I wanted to get my errands done. I can do that. If I want to take the morning off and then work after dinner, I can do that. If I want to get up early and bust my butt all day so that I could take Friday evening off for date night every week, I can do that. I roll out of bed and I walk into the next room and I'm already at work. I can grab my coffee and I can get to work. I make my own hours. If I have a bad day and my back hurts and I have to take a day off to lay on my heating pad and feel sorry for myself, I can do that. If you have anxiety, any kind of mental health issues, any kind of physical disabilities, you can take time off and you can pamper yourself and take care of yourself, and you're not going to get fired. You're not going to be yelled at by a boss because you took too many breaks or your break was too long. You can do what you need to do for your own mental health and your own physical health. You can take lunch when you want it. You can eat while you work, or you can read a book while you work. You can go to the park and eat. You can do whatever you want because you're the boss. You can take any kind of break you want, wherever you want, and eat what you want and do what you want and make your own hours and take time off and work your job around yourself and your kids and everything else. That way, this job is super rewarding and super awesome and fun. Going thrifting, going to the yard sales, going to the estate sales, that thrill of the hunt, that fun of shopping, nothing beats that. And then, like I said, summer slowdown's kind of, but fourth quarter and then typically like the beginning of second quarter. This year was weird because of C-19 and the shutdown. Fourth quarter is good for everyone. And then typically right around the normal tax return time is like a second, fourth quarter for the used clothing resellers and other like hard goods and plush. People usually spend a lot of money. When those times happen and you're rolling in the dough and you're making all this money, it's fantastic. It's great, an exciting job. I know people who have sold enough to pay off debts, pay off credit cards, pay off cars. Bill and David, you guys of Gnome and Frog, paid off a freaking house. It's like amazing what you can do with this job, but it's not easy. So all those things I just mentioned that are amazing and great, and you can tell how passionate I am about it. I love, this is the best job I've ever had. It's not the most rewarding job I've ever had because I used to work in the healthcare field and I actually took care of people in nursing homes and adults with disabilities. That was the most rewarding job, like as far as feeding my soul and my heart and connecting with people. But that aside, that's why I do YouTube. So I can connect with people and teach and help. Kind of helps me not miss that so much. But the rest of it, it's the best job I've ever had. It's the easiest job I've ever had. But it's also the hardest job I've ever had some days. And there's days where I'm disappointed and I'm sad. And you guys, I'm not above being human. I'm not perfect. I'm just like you. I will tell you, there are days when I want to quit. There are days when I just want to throw everything out the window, say, you, and just, I'm done. I don't want to do it anymore. There's days where I'm just disappointed and I can't get motivated. There's days where I'm just like, I just can't do it anymore. It happens to all of us because it is a hard job. You are the CEO, the president, the vice president, the accountant, the customer service, the self-marketing, the PR. You're just everything, and it's a lot. So it's not easy, but if you think that you can roll with the punches and make it work, and you're willing to roll your sleeves up, and you're willing to put in those hours, and you're willing to put in the work, and you're willing to list every single day and listen to the advice of other resellers, that's something that I think a lot of resellers forget to do, especially as they get seasoned and become veteran sellers. Not everybody knows everything and not everybody is right all the time. So make sure that you're willing to listen to other people. If you make a post in a Facebook group and you're asking for help and everybody is saying exactly what you didn't want to hear, then that's when you need to listen. When you expect people to answer you a certain way or side with you and they're not, and everybody's answering opposite of what you believe, that's probably the time that you were wrong and you need to listen. We are all fallible. We are all human. So don't forget that. If you're in Facebook groups, read the posts, lurk. If you're not, some people don't like to post and get involved, but lurk, read, learn, watch YouTube, make friends in the community and listen to each other. But most of all, you have to be willing to put in that work. If you think this is going to be easy and you're just going to go thrifting once a week and be rolling in the dough, you're sadly mistaken. You're sadly mistaken. That is not what it is about. All right, I'm going to catch up on the comments before I let you guys go. Let's go back up here. Miss, I'm still trying to get rich. This whole eBay thing is a lie. But the part I love about it is any money we make, me and Keith, that's net above cost of goods and everything else, we're lying in our own pockets. We're building our own dreams. When you worked for someone else, the higher ups, the executives, those were the people who were lying in their pockets and building their dreams on your back, your sweat and your hard work. When you own your own business, all the sweat, tears, and hard work and all of that is yours. And you're going to line your own pockets and build your own dreams instead of somebody, 5 floors up in a tuxedo in a suit. You know what I mean? So, unloading the car sucks. Yeah, well, I don't have to do that because I'm not supposed to be lifting anything over 5 pounds. So Keith's my camel. I always call him my camel or my pack mule. He has to do all that. Kim says, can you post a link on how you run your sales in the comments or description of the video? If I don't settle down soon, my anxiety is going to put me out of business. So I keep repricing my store and building. Oh, no, you are getting way way too farther into it than you need to be. Kim, are you in my Facebook group? Flippin' Hippos Reseller Pod. There's a link to join it down below. It's a free group to join of really super chill, super awesome resellers from the community. Join that. I owe you guys a link from last night. Let me write it down. I said I was going to put the size chart in the group for you guys, right? So the size chart and my sales video. I'll put those in the group tonight for you guys. Okay? I wrote it down. Size chart. I know I need to text Colleen, and then I need to do a video on my clearance. I'll write everything down. The cha-ching, my parents get so excited. Yes, I love the family members and the friends that we've made that understand that cha-ching means a sale, and they get excited for you. Keith's grandparents call me Twinkles because of Star. So whenever my phone goes off and wherever his grandparents' house, his grandpa always yells, "Oh, Twinkle's got another sale. Twinkle's made some money." And it amuses me really a lot. It's really cute. Being able to go to the bathroom when you want to is a great perk as a teacher. Yeah, even as in the healthcare field, you often had to wait for a partner to come sit with someone you were taking care of. So the train. All right, I got 2 announcements for you guys before I let you go. So let's make the announcements. Tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, I will be on Dominic, Primetime Treasure Hunter. I will be on his channel in a thrift battle against Nurse Flipper, or her name's Kat. Most of you know her as Kat, K-A-T. She's a nurse who also flips. She's on Instagram. I'm a little nervous because she seems to just have the luck of any luckiest person I've ever met when she goes thrifting at estate sales. I've been watching her Instagram, looking at what she's getting, but it should be a good time. I've got some good stuff too. Most of my stuff represents my wheelhouse. That's all I'll say. But so I will be in a thrift battle tomorrow night on Dominic's channel, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm also going to promote that in the Facebook group and put a link up to it for you guys and on my social media tomorrow and just promote it. I need as many of my pod as I can get there to support me, guys. I need all the hippos. I need the whole pod. I need all of you. So if you can show up for that, please do. It's a round robin type game where she and I will be one item at a time versus, and then the chat gets to vote on who wins. So I need all my pod. I need my peeps. I need you guys there to support me. So there's that announcement. And then the other announcement, next Tuesday on this channel, same bat time, same bat channel, 7 p.m. Eastern, I'm going to have a very special guest. You guys know and love him. He's the other Plushie royalty. I'm going to have Robert on next Tuesday night. We're going to talk all the things Plush. All of it. We're going to talk about it. Sourcing it, listing it, pricing it, why we love it, why it's our passion, and how to do it and do it well. So I hope you guys are excited for that because you guys absolutely love. I keep doing a little heart. You guys love Robert. So I think it'll be cool to have both of the Plushie royalty, quote unquote, in the same room at the same time, so to speak, talking about the plush. So come support me tomorrow night on Dominic's channel. Make sure you show up next week to support Robert. He just recently also got monetized. Yay, Robert. So we're going to get him on here and try to get him some more subs and build his channel up and support him. All right, let's see what's in the chat before I go. Great show. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Can't wait for the battle. Let's get ready to rumble. Yeah, Plush are amazing. So get into them if you can. All right, I'm going to let you guys go. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up before you leave, guys. It really helps the channel. If you haven't already, subscribe. Help us feed all these hungry hippos. Hit the bell so you're notified when I put up new content. If you need to get a hold of me, Facebook group is your best bet, but I also respond to emails at flippinhipposhelp@gmail.com, and I'm on all the socials, all of them, at flippinhippos. So until next time, guys, go be productive. Go utilize everything I've taught you tonight and talked about. make some money, list. Thank you so much for joining me, spending an hour with me tonight. You guys, it means a lot. I appreciate you. Y'all are the best. Bye. In the broadcast. Bye.